Right, this is going to be a hard act to follow, but could I invite Alex Skinner, Pam Sharp and Kate Kearney from the Ototahi Community Housing Trust to the table. Thank you. I think you've dropped something there. Oh. Yep.
Thank you so much.
No, Tim's going to follow up with them. It's all right. You'll come back with a recommendation, won't you, Tim? Yeah. No pressure, but...
sorry.
I could say I'm wearing pink underpants, but that's probably not appropriate. Yeah, apologies for not being as colourful as the previous group.
It's all right, they've brought us sweet dreams as well.
I can't offer gifts either. I'd like to thank the council for giving us the opportunity to speak in advance of the council making a very important decision to lease property, the social housing, to the Ototahi Community Housing Trust. My name's Alex Skinner, I'm independent trustee and chairman. To my left I have Pam Sharp, also independent trustee and my deputy chair. And to my right I have Kate Kearney, who's our CEO. I thought I might give a little bit of background on where the trust has come over the last 6 months. Pam will talk a little bit about the importance of our values and our vision. Kate will then cover some of the detail as to the work that we've been doing specifically relating to the lease, and then I'll follow up just with a question for the committee in respect of the recommendation that's been put forward by council staff. So we, as independent trustees, of which there are 4 of us, were brought on the end of December with a very clear mandate to establish a trust, to gain charitable status, to become a community housing provider, with the ultimate aim of taking on the social housing that the council owns under a lease agreement, and continue the good work and potentially improve on the good work that has been done for the residents of Christchurch. We commenced our trust meetings the end of January. We met and have met weekly since then. It has been a huge commitment, not just to the 4 independent trustees, but also the 3 councillor trustees, being Councillor Turner, Councillor Buck and Councillor Lonsdale. We're a group of 7 trustees that are very passionate doing the right thing for social housing in the city, and we have come a long way in 6 months and achieved a lot. Along the way, we have taken advice from experts in their field, and part of the registration process to become a community housing provider, we've worked very, very closely with the Community Housing Association. In fact, they project managed our process, and we are very close to getting that status as a community housing provider. I'll hand over to Pam to talk a little bit about our vision and values.
Thank you. You just have to excuse my voice. I have picked up a bug from a preschooler, which is, okay. So I guess we just want to acknowledge, that the council went through a long and thoughtful and significant process to decide to come to the point that we're at now. And so when we came on board, the decision had been made that there would be an independent trust, and we are the trust. So we were all very excited about this, and starting from the beginning as a not-for-profit trust, and working with a sense of transparency and openness right from the beginning. We set ourselves our vision, which is to be a major contributor to those people who need support with housing in Christchurch. And we thought it was really important to set our values, and that in our work streams, everything we take back to our values. And our values are meaningful partnerships, honesty and integrity, innovation, accountability, respect, and celebration. So the key things, I guess, for us at this stage, Alex has talked about how we got to this stage, is our responsibility to our tenants, and that we want to have a totally smooth transition over from the council to the trust. And also we think it's really important to build on tenants' engagement, and work with the tenants, as to how we can improve and have good relationships in the whole social housing field in the city. So Kate's going to talk a wee bit about the lease.
Thank you very much for the opportunity to present to you all today. I'm very fortunate to be the CEO of the Otatahi Community Housing Trust, and I can say that everyone that I've come in contact with in the trust and through the recruitment process have been equally so enthused about the opportunity to provide tenancy management services to the citizens of Christchurch who actually are in need of social housing. We're thrilled at the thought that we are picking up the city housing portfolio. I suppose the document in front of you today is the lease agreement between council and ourselves, and we have worked very closely with council staff over the past 4 months. I came on board in June. It's been a delight to actually meet people and have robust discussions around the table about the best way we can have a lease agreement that not only protects the social housing portfolio as a very important asset of the council, but allows the trust to be independent and to be working to the very best of its ability to provide very, very good tenancy management services. So where we've got to since I've come on board is picking up on the work that the Trust were doing. The Trust were meeting weekly. I have had many conversations with the Community Housing Aotearoa who have actually been our independent experts who have advised us on how to go about the process of registration as a community housing provider. We've also spoken with the regulator regularly. We have shown the regulator a draft of the lease. We have received feedback from the regulator as to the important things in terms of achieving CHIP status. We have submitted a very comprehensive document to the regulator that went to the regulator in July, and we're now waiting on the decision. It is, of course, a formal process that has up to 60 days for that decision making to occur, but the regulator is aware that we're a very large CHIP and that it's very important to us that we work with them closely through this period while they're determining our status. The other thing we've done in between putting forward our submission for CHIP status is a few other small things. We now have a team of almost up to 20 staff coming on in the next 2 to 3 weeks. We've been incredibly fortunate to have people with a great deal of experience coming to the Trust, as well as other people who are really interested in this opportunity to do something of social good to people in Christchurch. As well as that, we have our systems ready to go. We have a premises that we're about to move into. So really, we're just at this stage doing the background work, working on induction for 20 staff, making sure they'll have the tools of the trade and they'll understand how to use them, and really looking forward to our go live date, which at this stage is the 3rd of October.
So just in respect to the specific recommendation that the councillors that you've got in front of yourselves, there is a request by staff that that the lease is signed subject to CHIP registration. We believe as a trust that we have done everything we can to maximise, in fact, guarantee, I don't know if guarantee is the right word, but to get CHIP registration, but there is a formal process we have to go through. We've had conversations with the regulator. The regulator has reviewed the lease document twice. We took on the feedback the first time. We negotiated and dealt with council staff to update the lease, because it's really important that any documents, any legal situations that we get in, that the regulator is comfortable that we meet their requirements as a housing provider for the regulatory purposes. So as a trust, we would welcome the opportunity for the lease to be signed, and we give you, as best we can, the confidence that we will get registration as a CHIP provider. So we request that the lease is signed as soon as possible to enable us to move the next 20% that we need. So we're 80% of the way there. We've got the systems, we've got the people, we've got the processes in place, so we can go live on the 3rd of October. We've given 1 minute for any questions, but welcome to take any questions that the councillors may have.
Okay, thank you. One question, sir. Regarding to your 20 new staff is there, or how many the current council staff will be transferred to this autarky, the community housing trust? Then especially in the kind of transition time period, can provide in this the community service more smoothly, or maybe more effective or efficient. Okay.
We welcomed any staff in the City Housing Unit to apply for positions. There is at least half a dozen coming, some have already started. We are meeting weekly with council staff and working through quite a robust transition plan. So we're fully confident that the way we're working now will allow the tenants on day one to experience a smooth transition.
Thank you.
Yes, thank you. And that is exactly 0000. So thank you very much. And we'll move on. So thank you very much for your presentation. We'll invite staff to take your place at the end of the table, because I'm sure that there are some questions as we move to the actual paper itself.